Alex's original idea was to watch, TNG, and we thought we have to go to the start and see what it's like. I don't know if we right then knew we planned to watch every single episode of TOS, but I think after watching The Man Trap, we were both just kind of like, oh, well, this is awesome. We have to watch this.
So this is why this is a thing. Like Star Trek has always been around in our lives at some point, but we've never watched it. It's been referenced in every single piece of pop culture that possibly can. But growing up, I was more into Star Wars. I'm guessing you were as well. And like no one ever sat me down and said, "Hey, check this out."
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I discovered Red Letter Media and their discussions about Star Trek, I'm like, "Oh, I want to check out Star Trek." And now here we are.
That's actually a question that I have for you, Alex. I know we don't want to go near TNG, but it is a question that's been on my mind since you started TNG. Did you see Mike and Rich's discussion on season 1?
Yes, but I don't remember any of it because I would just have their videos playing in the background sometimes. I remember more of their Picard discussions, so I do know some spoilers there. I mean, I think in the back of my mind there might be some TNG spoilers because I think I watched all of them, but that was like a few years ago. So I try to erase those from my brain.
Yeah, I think.
Well, you won't be getting to Picard until 2035, so
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And we'll be dead by then. So.
And if anyone knows anything about us, we can't even remember what we just watched when we discuss it afterwards. So some YouTube videos from a few years ago, I'm sure we probably don't have much memory of. Yeah, same thing for me though. Star Trek, I never had any. I mean, obviously I knew what it was my entire life. Never had anybody introduce it to me. Anybody even recommend it. I just knew it was a thing that existed. And that was it. It was just, it's so weird that there's this franchise and others have seen. There's other ones too, of course, but there's a lot of them out there that Alex has seen that I haven't, and vice versa. So it was nice to be able to find this that we both are a pretty clean slate.
Well, and it is a vast piece of media. Just for the sake of scope, the period that you guys are walking into is 18 years long. And it has 25 seasons and 6 movies left. So it's not a going steady relationship. It's a marriage. It's a long commitment. So I admire you guys for taking it on. Most of the YouTube channels that I've seen that take this on, they take it on like they watch the top 10 TOS episodes, and they watch the movies, then they go to TNG. They don't watch all of it because it's a lot. I mean, it's like when Josh and I were talking about it a week ago, 2 years to get through TNG. If you keep up the pace on it, I mean, it's a long time. But
job security.
Exactly. Yeah. And
I did want to just we did get another super chat, so I want to address it. Scott Marish, another $2. Thank you, Scott. Hey, Assignment Earth kicked ass. Go ahead, Alex.
You don't need to address that one. That's fine. Yeah, I love seeing Spock and Kirk in regular clothes, and there's a cat, so you get some points for that. That's it.
I think it was an autocorrect. He meant to put an equal sign. Assignment Earth equaled ass, but it autocorrected to kick ass.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Scott. Another $2, I'll fix it.
Nah, but obviously,
Thanks, Scott. Thank you.
Thank you. And obviously, we understand all the episodes we don't like. There's people that love all the episodes we love. There's people that are so confused as to how we like them. So totally get that. But yeah, go ahead, Steve, with your next point.
Well, there's that kind of raises a point too. The pop culture thing is the odd movies suck, the even movies rock. And as you guys have already discovered, that rule does not apply when you actually watch the movies. Everybody has their own tastes, and that's going to lead to different trains of thought. It depends on what you want. That's one of the cool things about Star Trek is it has so many different kinds of stories. You want comedy, there's comedy. You want action, there's action. I mean, it's got every kind of genre in it at one point or another.
Yeah,
there's
for sure.
war, there's all kinds of stuff. So
yeah,
what you find appealing is what your tastes are going to be catered to. And I was in an argument with somebody about a piece of the action the other day, and they were saying Star Trek isn't supposed to be funny. And I was like, the hell it isn't. Like, that's one of my favorite episodes of TOS is a piece of the action. Spocko, like, come on.
Yeah,
But
that's the one thing I praised about the movies is that how different they all are. How one and how some people don't like someone like the others. I think that's great. If they were all the same and everyone loved them equally, that'd be super boring. But the fact that I can look at each one and depending what mood I'm in, I can enjoy all of them to some degree is fantastic. Like if they were all just an action thriller, that'd be quite boring. But the fact that they're all different movies is so unique.
Yeah, I want to address real quick. We had an extremely generous super chat from Witcher Joker, so I just want to read that now. He said, "Just wanted to say how special it is to see you guys fall in love with the characters that were so important to so many of us throughout our lives. You bring happiness to many. Keep it up, my friends. Live long and prosper." Thank you very much, Witcher Joker. Really appreciate that. Appreciate you modding the chat for us as well. Pedro with a super chat, no question though, but thank you, Pedro. And then we got CJ Santa with a super chat. What do you guys feel about the fact the motion picture is basically a repackaging of the episode The Changeling? I always felt TMP was brought down by it. I want to phrase this question first, Alex, to you like this. Do you remember what The Changeling is?
I think is that yes, that's the one where it was another same thing as like a thing sent from Earth, found later on and attached to something very similar to the plot.
Yeah, I just remember it was the robot that came aboard. Yeah, I don't even remember that much. I think Spock mind melds with the robot, and then yeah, we didn't care for it. I don't think that much.
Yeah, probably.
But
that's
in terms
the one
of
where Uhura loses all her memory, and then magically she's okay at the end.
I think we made
she has re-educated, and that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah,
They don't
remember that.
restore it at the end.
yeah, I will say for me, Alex likes TMP more than me. I do like it as well. I think the best thing about it though is the visual, how visually impressive it is, and how much it jumps into the sci-fi elements. The show just didn't have the budget to do that. So even though it has a similar story, I think it works much better in TMP because it has the budget to just be visually stunning. We watched it on 4K; it looked amazing. So that's why I think it was much better in our reaction, how we took it.
Yeah, it's almost like they realized that it's almost a remake of another story, so we're really gonna, shove down their throats how good this looks. Like look at this, look at the Enterprise in the space dock. See it? See it there? Look,
Yeah.
look at that. All right, I see it. Yeah, look at that. All right, but that's okay. I loved the motion picture.
That was Gene's kind of number one goal, was to make it real, make Star Trek realer than it had ever been before. Especially for the fans. I mean, you think about it, the generation of people that grew up with TOS were 10 years older when TMP hit screens. So they had been dedicated for a long time. And yeah, that actually kind of brings me into kind of the first major point we were supposed to talk about. We've kind of danced a little bit, but that's all right. The origins of Star Trek. Where did it come from? What inspired Star Trek? And you guys have already watched. I think it was for your 50, maybe your 200,
500
Patreon.
Forbidden Planet.
Yeah, your Forbidden Planet reaction. That was kind of the big movie that inspired Gene Roddenberry to make Star Trek, and it's pretty obvious when you look at it. A lot of the little pieces are in there. The DNA of Star Trek is in there.
Yeah, that's one of those movies that get commented all the time. You guys gotta check out Forbidden Planet. We did. Look it up on the channel. It's there. We watched it. 500 subscriber special. We were still in the first season of TOS. We had not watched much of it at all. But we could already even tell watching Forbidden Planet the Star Trek vibes from it. I thought Forbidden Planet was okay. I thought it was decent.
Is that the first time we watched together? That
Like
movie?
in person, first in person thing.
Yeah. I thought it was fine. I just thought at the end, it got a bit a bit exposition-y. I think everything leading up to that, but at the end, it just felt like it wouldn't end.
Yeah, well, like every movie back then's like, we don't have the budget to show you. Let me explain the whole movie. That's just like every movie from back then for the most part.
Yeah. Might have to revisit that one. It's been a while.
Yeah, I own it on Blu-ray now, so I'll definitely check it out.
Second time watching.
Yeah.
That's that's a movie that's very precious to that generation. So the hate comments are coming. So I'm gonna get out of here. You guys can just. But That's a fair point. It is pretty exposition heavy. It's a very talky movie, um, which 1950s. There's a lot of movies that are just people in cheap looking labs talking endlessly about science gobbledygook just because they don't have the money to show you anything. Oh, look, it's a paper mache monster. That's about all they can do. And
For its time,
those
though, there were some pretty impressive, special effects, and the sets look great and everything. So even for its time that long ago, I think it was a pretty big budget movie for its time. I think I remember someone saying so. For its time, it definitely does look impressive. But at the time, they had to do what they could. So not everything should be shown. They had to tell some, unfortunately. But yeah, still enjoyed it.
which is just kind of like the original Star Trek. I mean, it was one of the most expensive television shows on the air at the time it was released. It was a spendy show. Doesn't look like it today, but like they're using takeout lids and cotton candy and whatever, spraying things and putting it on the wall. Hey, that's a thing.
Yeah.
That's extremely over.
Yeah.
And buy it. Colored lights was one of the things that a lot of the set designers were big on, was different colors of light to indicate, like, is there a power source or something? The one I remember more than any is the guy talking about in the Cloud Minders, there's a piece of wall deco, and it's literally a block of wood spray painted with takeout lids glued on it, and then just hung it on the wall. That's your set decoration.
That's
Like, they had to do
filmmaking,
it
man.
then, too.
That's filmmaking. Sometimes something simple and easy doesn't have to be super crazy, but practical. Practical effects, man. Nothing like it.
Yeah, and we got
Right.
two more super chats here. First one, just a comment from Pedro, another donation. Gotta love your reaction vid. Much love from Brazil. Thank you, Pedro.
Hey, thanks, man.
It's just wild that people watch us in other places.
Yeah, it's weird that anyone does.
I mean, I feel like we're such an acquired taste, even for Americans. For other international viewers, we really appreciate it. It's still really wild to think about. And then we got Sean, who gave a donation, said, "What would each of you be, red, blue, or yellow shirt?"
Ooh, I'm gonna have to be a yellow shirt because I wrestled as Captain Kirk at a Comic-Con-esque type place, and I just got a booking to do it again
Oh, really?
in Columbus. Yeah, it's 3 days. I'm gonna be wrestling as Captain Kirk at some event. I can't remember the name of it, but uh, more
Give him a
details.
judo chop.
I'm excited. I hate wrestling regularly, but to wrestle as Captain Kirk, hell yeah,
Yeah,
more fun.
that should be fun. Yeah, if you got any more footage of that and you want to post like you did for the last one, for sure. I am gonna go blue just because blue is my favorite color, and I don't want to die, so I'm not gonna go red. So yeah, I'll go blue. What about you, Steve?
Well, I was gonna go red, but my shirt. So red is dead. So
You'll survive though.
I guess I'm just dead. So I got vaporized.
Yeah, Picard wears red, right?
Yeah, if we're talking
They
past TOS, yeah.
they swapped the gold and the red, so the red shirts are actually the gold shirts in TNG. They meet their demise, unfortunately.
All right.
Um,
We got one more that just came in from Dimitri. Live long and may the force be ever in your favor, Dumbledore. How do you manage to avoid spoilers from YouTube comments or the internet in general? I think we're about to have some ads come in, so we will answer that afterwards, just to make sure everyone sees it. But while the ads are running, for people who have YouTube Premium, which, by the way, I mean, I couldn't survive without YouTube Premium in 2023. I don't know. Do you have it?
Yes, I have YouTube Premium, and I've never thought about going back ever. There's been periods where I haven't had a job, and I'm like, I will do whatever it takes, fight tooth and nail to pay for YouTube Premium because I am not going back.
Yeah, I can't.
It goes YouTube Premium, rent, car payment, alimony for my divorce. I'm not divorced.
So my YouTube Premium is on my personal channel.
Yeah, yeah.
And so sometimes when I'm on YouTube and just happen to be on the target audience channel, which doesn't have it, and go to watch a video and an ad comes up, I'm like, ah! It's like a jump scare.
Oh yeah, it's like different colored. Sometimes like it's white. Like I opened up YouTube at like on a work browser the other day, and it was like all white. I'm like, oh god, like almost blinded by it.
All right, I think we're probably back from the ads, hopefully. So Yeah, so how do we manage to avoid spoilers from YouTube comments or the internet in general? I'll let you go first.
Um, it's mainly I look at the comments in our videos, and most of our subscribers or commenters are very, good with that. I try not to look up any other Star Trek stuff. I'll watch Red Letter Media videos, and sometimes they'll make a reference to Star Trek. I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm
It's like in that one episode of Star Trek.
yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, you gotta know. Oh, there was a great gag they had where they were doing a review of the second Indiana Jones film, and as like a gag, Mike pulls out Star Trek: The Motion Picture before we watched it. I'm like, no, because I thought they were gonna do like a switcheroo, but they ended up not talking about it. But I got so scared. But I'm into a few other niche things on YouTube, so my algorithm or subscribe or whatever isn't too much on Star Trek. So I luck out there, and luckily it's not very talked about much. We're with people
In our world,
in our world, really.
Yeah, and we also have some good YouTube mods that clear up the comments for us. So that's always helpful. And our memory is also terrible. So anything we do come across, I do think now that we've seen it, like I am very shocked that we didn't get spoiled for Spock's death. Like that seems like the main thing anyone would spoil. So I'm very surprised that didn't happen.
That's true.
I can't think of anything else though that we've seen thus far that I would have been like, oh, I can't believe no one spoiled this. Like there's not that many huge things really, but it's usually like this will come back in a future episode in 20 years, and it's like I'm not going to remember by that point anyway, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
I knew Kirk had a kid. I think that was spoiled for me in a Red Letter Media video. I think.
You just knew it happened eventually.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They made an offhand comment about it during, I think, one of their Picard videos. So I'm like, oh, we're not going to watch Picard for another 30 years, so we're okay.
Yeah.
But then
it popped
But every
up.
now and then they'll make a reference to, something we're watching now. I'm like, God damn it.
We got a few more came in here, so I just want to get these in. CJ, another donation, thank you. He said, "Gotta ask more. As Star Trek V is my favorite of the films, I was really looking forward to your guys' reaction. Will you get to it after TNG or during?" So this is a question we've gotten a lot since our Star Trek 4 video. I mean, if you're a fan of our channel, I think you would know this. But for anyone who hasn't heard us say it yet, we are doing strict release order. So in season 2 of TNG, whatever 2 episodes that Star Trek 5 released in theaters between, that's when we'll watch Star Trek 5. Same thing with Star Trek 6. And when shows start to overlap, we'll watch them in their overlapping order. So we're just doing strict release order. I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah, I think that's super interesting. Especially when we get to that point, we're going to bounce back and forth. I think that's going to be really fun.
Yeah, I think with others...
Check them off the list.
Yeah, exactly. Other certain things like The Cage that didn't premiere but then premiered at some point on TV during a strike, like weird stuff like that we'll just do whenever. Like we did The Cage as a Patreon, hit a benchmark. But the main canon stuff we're going to do strict release order. And then Michael Nemo, $20 super chat. Thank you, Michael. Michael's been here a long time here on the channel. I recognize that name from the beginning, so thank you. He says, "It's fascinating to see you two watch the franchise in such a concentrated amount of time. I watched literally over 50 years. I wonder how that affects the experience. I was 10 when I saw TMP, and you two were not."
We were not alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you say in such a concentrated amount of time, like
Very quickly.
okay, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it does obviously gives us a different perspective. I mean, it'd be the same thing to relate it more to us if someone never watched the MCU and then they just watched it all in 1 week.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, so it's the same thing. We'll never know the other side of it though. So this is the only perspective we have.
I think if you did that, your head would end up like the chick in the Kingdom of Crystal Skull. I think you just melt. You tried to watch all
Too much
that quick. Yeah, it's absolutely true though. Frame of time. Like I started watching Star Trek when I was 4 years old. I'm 35 now, so it's been part of my life as long as I can remember. Basically, almost as long as I could speak. In fact, you have the longer uncut version of the motion picture in your VHS clamshell. That's the first piece of Star Trek I saw, which
okay.
is a different experience than the director's Blu-ray because it actually has shots that are literally not finished. You can see scaffolding from the set where they didn't do the matte painting. It is unfinished. It's basically a work print in a VHS tape, which is kind of insane to think that a big tentpole movie like that ever got treated like that. But that movie was so late in its production that the film cans, when they were shipped out to the theaters, were still wet from processing. They were like running them into the theaters last minute to get it. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, right
Three
after
different effects companies worked on that movie to
yeah
get
after
it done.
after Star Wars, right? We need to get this out right now. I don't care if it's done.
Exactly.
Get it
And that's
out, get it
why they
out.
made Wrath of Khan for like $5. You know, like the budget was slashed
Yeah.
for 2 and 3, and it was only because Nimoy did such a good job on 3 that 4 got the money it did. And then we'll get to Star Trek 5
Yeah.
later.
Anything else? I guess we obviously we getting a lot of really generous super chats here, so we've been kind of all over. But TOS wise, just to kind of do final thoughts on that. Obviously, we've done our own videos already. You know, our favorite episodes, general thoughts, just all of that. But I would just say in general, I mean, I think it's one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah, absolutely. Mine too. It's just fascinating because when doing our discussion videos, I would look up the crew members and other stuff they worked on, and the dozens amount of shows I see on there, sci-fi shows or whatever, that I have no idea what they are. And it's like, what? In fact, like Star Trek's the one that's lasted, since the '60s that are still relevant today. It's like all these other ones are just lost to, to memory. It's crazy. It's like that it worked 3 seasons and it's like one of the best things ever. It's like what I would love to see, like what did those shows that were not Star Trek that just fell off, like what were they missing? It's like Star Trek is like a perfect storm, lightning in a bottle. It's weird. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I think we get so many comments too, that are like, "Oh, you liked this episode? Check out this show. Check out this movie." And I would really love to, And it's like we're trying to keep a list. If one day we ever, we don't do this full time, like we're nowhere near that point. So like if we ever get there, we could dive into so much stuff that would be so awesome. But for right now, to just concentrate on Star Trek, just for everybody watching, keep that in mind. There will hopefully be a point where we're opening it up to doing more of that stuff, especially once we're further from the era, because it's like, a couple years removed from watching TOS to then go back and watch more stuff from that era. We might have more of an appreciation than like watching all of it concurrently with TOS and TOS just being better than all of it,
Yeah, that's true.
that actually raises a question that I had kind of saved for the end, but I'll bring it up here. Fan films. Star Trek continues.
Oh my god.
I know you've been asked, but let's clear the air on that one. You got a big audience here, so let's clear the air on that. How do you feel about fan films? How do you feel about
Oh, we got some
being
super
asked
chats
about-
here.
I have no problem in principle with them. I've never watched a fan film of anything in my life, so I don't. I wouldn't even know what to compare it to, like good or bad for a fan film. I wouldn't even know. But we'll probably do it as a meme when we hit a certain benchmark on Patreon, would be my guess. I don't know what that number is yet. It's not one that we're close to, but we'll probably do that eventually.
When I'm able to quit my real job, yeah, absolutely. I'll watch whatever you want.
Basically, what they're saying, guys, is everybody go over to Patreon and get the $10 tier so that we can make them watch fan films.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen some Star Wars fan films, and it's like, yeah, it's fine, but it's like it's not. You know what I mean? It's almost
It's not the real thing.
Yeah, it's almost the equivalent of watching a Star Wars show today. It's like, it's not. You know what I mean? It's like
It's not George Lucas.
Especially, I think you said this before. Like for Star Wars, Star Trek Continues. It's meant to believe that it's like that era, that time,
that character,
that it's William Shatner's Kirk.
Yeah,
and it's just like I don't know. I know they've gotten TOS actors back for it, which is insane. Like I don't know. I'm picturing like what's his face?
the Adonis guy.
No. I'm
like the real characters.
I'm picturing like I don't know, someone from Star Wars, for example. Like let's say the guy that plays Darth Maul, Ray Park, like him doing a fan film. Like that would be insane. So the fact that someone like that came back for Star Trek Continues is nuts.
Yeah.
But
It'll be fun to watch one day. That's really all we can. That's the best way to put it.
A good story for another time.
Yeah, we did get a few
There you
more super chats though, so I want to get to these. Action Com says, since you are doing release order, will you be doing behind the scenes documentaries like Reading Rainbow, The Bionic Bunny Show, or William Shatner's Memories? This would be the same thing, I think, just in that list. You know what I mean? When we get to a point where we'll watch whatever people want, anything, documentaries. I've never seen a documentary reaction. Is it good? I don't.
I sent you a screenshot one. I sent you a screenshot one time. Like this on HBO, a show called like House of Hammer came out, just like about Army Hammer. So just for like the hell of it, I YouTube searched House of Hammer reaction, and sure enough, a few YouTube channels.
Okay.
Like reacting to like what?
Yeah, I have no idea how to do a reaction to a documentary, but
Like wow, that's interesting, or wow, that's crazy. It's like I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it would depend on what the specific documentary is. Like,
yeah.
I think with like William Shatner, it's more entertainment than it is. You're not watching.
It's not like
David Attenborough.
educational. Yeah.
Look at this. Like, oh wow, no, that's nature. Cool.
Yeah, it's like I
things
used to make
out.
jokes about it, like reacting to the daily news. Like oh, like CBS morning news reaction. With like the open mouth thumbnail.
Yeah. But all those will be on that list for sure. We got another one from Michael. Thank you, Michael. He says there was a decade between 69 and 79 that only had the animated series and conventions for 10 years. Now there are 4 or 5 crappy shows on, LOL. Yeah, it is interesting that I think this was Steve, you can correct us if we're wrong. This was probably the biggest jump in time that we're going to take from the end of TOS at 69 to the next generation in 87, right? 87?
Yeah.
Like that jump of time for like regular TV was probably never done from then to now, right? Like there was basically Star Trek on moving forward.
Enterprise went off the air in 2005, and Discovery premiered in 2017.
Oh, okay. So a little over a decade there. Okay.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close.
I didn't
was
know that.
16
Okay.
when Enterprise was canceled, and then I was 20. Was it 26, 27 when Discovery premiered? So it's a pretty good jump.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead.
Here's a question: do you think there'll ever be another Star Trek movie ever again? Because I feel like both Star Wars and Star Trek are in this like TV shows are cheap. It's like let's just keep doing cheap TV shows.
Well, I do know that Star Trek 4 of the new ones has been in development hell for like 6 years or whatever. So I don't know the status of that. 1 week Chris Pine leaves, the next week he's back. No one knows what's going on. They fire everyone. They hire him back. I don't know the status of that at all.
I'm into it until they hire Timothy Chalamet. Then I'm done. as soon as he's brought into Star Trek, I'm done.
He's the new Kirk.
like, not to spoil anything, I know you guys many years ago saw the
Yeah.
JJ movies. The biggest problem that they had, and this is not a spoiler, is they kind of burned themselves out. Like they were just big to start with, and then they just kind of crashed. And the actors are like, "Hey, I want more money. If you want me to do another, I want more money because this is my career. I don't want to be typecast as Spock for the rest of my life." So, will we see another movie again? I mean, they're making a movie, but it's going to be on streaming. I don't think it's going to see much of a theatrical release. So,
I mean, there will be another movie at some point because money. Like there will be eventually. It's just a matter of how long it's going to be. We got a couple more. Another one from Scott Marriage. Thank you, Scott. He says, also, you have so much material yet to view. We never knew if what we just viewed might be the last. Yeah, and that's something that we'll never experience until we catch up.
Yeah, actually, we do not experience that today because the sludge must flow in today's modern media. Yeah. It's like there's always something, except for Friday the 13th. I saw the last one in theaters in 2009, and I've been waiting patiently.
That's also stuck in development hell.
I've been waiting patiently for a decade for another bad movie, so I need some more trash.
I thought the Friday the 13th remake was decent, actually.
I actually liked it a lot, yeah. But you know what I'm saying by trash.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say the Nightmare on Elm Street remake was much worse.
That was trash.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, like, good trash. There's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a good
Entertaining trash.
entertaining trash. Yes,
Yeah.
slasher trash.
And then we got Jonathan. Thank you for the super chat. He says, now that you are a few months away from TOS, is there anything you think you will miss as you move forward in Star Trek? Anything we'll miss from TOS?
Just probably those costumes, the cast. It feels like, I don't know, especially like moving the TNG. Like, I love the new cast. I like them a lot, but I just miss the banter between the big three, and I miss the other characters, and it feels very upsetting that it's like, oh, that's it. I should have appreciated more. As if I can't go back and watch it, but it's
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean?
But during that first time watch,
Yeah,
appreciate it,
yeah.
We tried.
We tried during the empath episode and all those others.
Yeah. I think I'm kind of on the same page. I'll just say, just how good it was, but also just the simplicity of 60s TV, purely episodic. We love character stuff. We're gonna love once we get to more serialized things, I'm sure. But I can already feel it in TNG because we have watched the first few episodes. You can check them out on our Patreon. But there's already just like a little bit more serialization there, even if it's just a tinge, just a little hint. We'll never have that real pure, just like simple episodic episodes of TV that Star Trek TOS had,
Which we've never experienced, really. Because we were like, I think we went to episode 2, we were like, oh. Even episode 1, we're like, oh, we're just jumping right in.
Yeah.
Like, no soft lead in or anything. Like, I think of every TV show in the last decade or so, there's that pilot is such like an introduction of like the characters and how things are going. But I'm gonna miss those blind, just this is the story. Get over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. I did want to touch a little bit on TAS. That Michael brought it up in his super chat. Steve, I know you had a question and you wanted to touch on it as well.
What was that?
For TAS, the animated series, just to touch on that for a moment. What did you think of TAS?
It's not bad. I think as far as what it could have been, what they wanted to make it, which was a child show. They wanted to make it really kiddie. It's actually remarkably adult for a show aimed at children. I appreciate that they didn't dumb it down for the audience. That was a surprise to me when I first watched it many years ago. That would be my kind of summary. It's not the piece of Star Trek I go back to the most, but I do appreciate it, definitely.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Yesteryear is better than every other episode by far, but that's just amazing TV. But the rest of it's good.
DC Fontana, not DC Studios. Definitely not DC Studios. My thing with the TAS, I actually wish it was a bit longer, because those like good episodes, they just snap through things and you're just trying to retain everything. It's like, wait. It's like, especially when there's a lot of set pieces, it's like bam, 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 bam. So I wish they were a bit longer. But yeah, not bad at all.
Watching it in a binge-watching fashion, though, did wear on us, I think, a little bit. I mean, we watched all of TAS in 3 weeks, which is, in our recording time, 6 days, because we record twice a week.
We did 4 episodes a day?
Yeah, 4 episodes each recording, and it started to wear on us towards the end, and I think also our anticipation of the movies was getting, closer, where we're like, okay, let's wrap up this cartoon. I said it in the series, but I think if TAS had been, like, any longer at all, we probably just would have skipped it. Like, it being only 22 episodes, we were like, okay, we can do this. You know what I mean? We can watch this too. But if it was like, cartoons, sometimes it's like 150 episodes. Like, I'd have been like, no, we're not watching that.
But try watching the Dragon Ball franchise. It's like, good lord, where do you even start?
Never going to start that.
Yeah, anime is a different level.
Yeah, but I think it's fun with TAS to think about these. Was it declared not canon or canon?
No one even knew what canon was back then.
Yeah,
so.
True. I just like to think that there's like a giant Spock on some planet out there.
Yeah.
I always think about that giant Spock's out there.
Yeah, I treated it as canon for sure.
And that piece of shit Bem is out there.
There was actually a question that my friend Jim wanted me to pose to you guys on TAS on the subject of that episode. Let me see if I can actually find it here. You're gonna go this freaking nerd.
While you're looking for that, we did get another super chat from Eddie. Greetings from Germany. TOS is my fave. You've seen a lot already, but you ain't seen nothing yet. TNG and DS9 will have mind-blowing episodes. Buckle up. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, greetings from Germany. Good lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eddie. Did you find it, Steve?
I did, yes.
All right, go ahead.
All right, this is going to test your nerd knowledge, and I know you guys are senile, but
I have none.
what was the name of the mobile plant in the animated series episode The Infinite Vulcan?
There was a mobile plant?
Oh god. I don't know.
You should give us
I don't
multiple
know.
choice. Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, like give me 3 options,
Ret
multiple
Law.
choice. Make the other 2 very obvious wrong. Yeah, no idea.
What was it?
Ret Law.
Right? Law? Yeah, I would have did no idea.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was a mobile
This
plant.
is
What did it do?
It was poisonous and it moved around. I can't remember.
Oh,
I
the
haven't
little
seen
thing
that
that
episode.
comes out of the ground. The little thing that came out of the
Mhm.
ground and, like bit Sulu.
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of remember it now.
Gotcha. Yeah, one thing about me is I am horrible with like names, like face recognition, or just seeing like a frame from an episode. I'm like, oh, it's that one. But like, you'll reference episode, people reference episode names in TOS. I'm like, shit, which one was that? You know, like I had to think for a second with the changeling. I'm like, you know.
Yeah, I'm the same way, and the only reason I'm good with episode titles for TOS is because I like have to edit the videos, so like I get more familiar with the episode title from posting the videos. You know, that is the only reason I remember the episode titles. I'm the same way. So yeah, unfortunately, we're not very good at trivia. I guess would probably be the correct. Yeah, we would never. Now, if it was like a visual trivia, put up a picture. Who's this?
Oh,
that's
That's Spock.
So I want to give you guys a little bit of hatred here before we move on completely
Bring
from
it.
TOS and TS.
Bring it.
This is negativity squared. But let's say when you guys are making, $1 million a month, you go back and you do your rewatches of old Star Trek. I want you guys to think, what would be the 5 most painful episodes to go back to?
We have a YouTube video.
It was actually on Patreon.
Oh, was
We
on
had
page-
we had a
okay.
Patreon extra where we named our top 5 worst episodes. So, we had the same 5 when we revealed our lists. They were in a different order, but we ended up having the exact same 5 worst episodes. And I think, Steve, you're a patron. Do you think it's okay if we give it away?
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been a while since we posted that. I don't want the patrons to feel like we're taking anything exclusive from them. But I mean, first I'll ask the chat. Just guess. You don't have to do all 5, but just put in the chat. Just guess what episodes you think are our least favorite. You'll probably know if you've watched our reactions. Like, it's pretty clear.
Can I give you my 5?
Yeah, you go.
Yeah,
do
yeah.
your 5 first.
I'm
while
curious.
While we're
What do
waiting
you-
for the chat.
I'm curious. What do you got?
All right, so I tried to order this in best to worst.
Okay.
So
Yeah, like 5 to
dipping
1.
into it still.
Yeah, like 5 to 1
Like a
worst.
lobster.
Yeah.
So we would start with the Deadly Years.
Yes. Awful. Terrible.
Miri
Yeah.
and the Children Shall Lead.
Yep.
The Alternative Factor. And then finally, The Empath, because I really want to make you watch that again, Alex.
Oh,
I thought the Alternative Factor. Everyone said it was the worst episode. The guy falling off the cliff screaming.
oh, that
We had a great time with it.
that was like a fun episode to watch for comedic value. You know, what I mean? That guy falling off the cliff is one of my favorite clips ever. And the fact that like, in Search for Spock, there's a very similar thing like that where Kirk jumps off the cliff onto
Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so hilarious. Yeah, so that one almost gets a pass. I've said this before, but there's episodes of TOS that just fall by the wayside, like in the middle, like not great, not terrible. It's like that was an episode of Star Trek.
And as much as it seemed like we hated the Empath when we watched it, it didn't make our lists for the worst.
That's true.
I don't think the Empath was like a terrible episode. I was just like, at the time, it was so baffling to watch because it's such a different episode and one that I didn't like. I didn't love the episode for sure. So I think I came off more negative in the reaction. A lot of people, let's look at the chat here. A lot of people saying all the same stuff. Assignment Earth. Someone says Omega Glory, the one where they bring out the American flag at the end. I found that to be hilarious enough to give a pass. They're like stuck down on the planet. And then, like at the end, it turns out it's like the U.S. Constitution, and they like literally walk in an American flag,
Oh God.
which it's
We
like they're
the
not on
people.
Earth. They're not on Earth. So,
That's right. We got. Looks like we have a couple super chats.
oh yeah.
here.
Just to wrap up on this though, Miri and the Children Shall Lead, The Deadly Years, Assignment Earth, and what was the fifth one?
Are you sure it wasn't the empath?
Did they make her a list?
I'm trying to. What else could it be?
See, I didn't list the Assignment Earth because that's not Star Trek.
Yeah, true. It's some people's favorite episode apparently. Which I mean, I guess they don't like Star Trek.
Plus, I know they reference Gary 7 in Picard, which is absolutely insane to me. That
Spoilers.
of all,
Jeez.
it's Assignment Earth. It doesn't count. You know, it's not Star Trek, right? It's not a spoiler. Neither is Picard, apparently, to some people.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we got here?
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it was the empath. Maybe I misspoke because I can't think of what the fifth one would be. So that must be it. Okay. This is from Michael again. Thank you, Michael. Did you guys know that the first National Happy Meal was for the motion picture? That's awesome, actually.
Really? Oh wow.
I can't tell you how big of a media blitz that film was, and trying to collect all the Trek Happy Meal boxes and toys, an amazing time.
Dude, I wish just to grow up in 70s, 80s, and 90s, with just I don't know, just the pop culture toys as they were coming out or stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm very nostalgic for stuff like that, just the simple day-to-day life of stuff like that. The stuff now sucks.
You know what's funny about that too is Star Trek never caught a break in the merchandising department.
Really?
It never could get its stride going. The first movie got action figures, a play set, like they said, the McDonald's Blitz. Then Star Trek 2, the most action-oriented Star Trek movie, doesn't get anything.
Really?
And then
That's
Star
interesting.
Trek 3, they did a couple of action figures, and then Star Trek 4, everyone was like, nope. Even though that was the most money-making one, they could have made a lot of money on merch, but they didn't touch that one.
Sell some toy
And then
whales.
Star Trek 5, everyone kind of learned their lesson for the last time.
Yeah. Matthew McKinnon, it looks like. I'm sorry, it's not showing me the full thing. Let me see if I can extend this real quick so I can read people's full. Nope, still doesn't.
It's got to be McKinnon.
McKinnon. Sorry if that's not the full name. Donation, no question, but the super chat. Thank you very much. Phaser Face with the super chat. Have you started buying any Trek collectibles? You buy a lot of shirts.
Collectibles, no, but I'll look up shirts on Redbubble or Amazon. I bought a Happy Spocktober shirt for October. I bought just a generic the original series shirt. Christmas is coming up, so I want to start finding some Star Trek Christmas shirts. Yeah, but in terms of collectibles, no, I've never really been a collectible guy. I've moved 6 times in the past 6 years, so it's just more shit to move.
Yeah.
And I just want to throw more stuff out rather than collect. But
I, on the other hand, don't have any, I would say, collectibles, I guess. I just more so collect, obviously, the physical media. The VHSs have been cool to
the
buy.
VHS tapes, yes.
Yeah. And then I have them all on Blu-ray, obviously the box set. And then I did get a couple little things that I would get just from online, little, but nothing cool. And that does bring up also a lot of people recently have started asking us about a P.O. box to send us stuff. So that is in the works. Only reason it hasn't been done is because I'm lazy, but it will be done soon. And then once that's available, we'll announce it, and it'll also be in the description of our videos. So if there is any fan mail that people want to send, because we've already gotten multiple people wanting us to, which we really appreciate and is really awesome, because I would never think that, but people want to, we'll let you guys know as soon as that is open, which again should be soon.
Whenever someone talks about their address or something, I always think of Breaking Bad, where he goes, "My name is Walter Hartwell White. I live at 503 Negra Oriole."
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then last super chat here we have right now is from CJ. One more fave TOS episode. Mine is Doomsday Machine.
One more favorite as opposed to our already established favorites. Is that what he's saying? because we've done our top 5 or 10.
And then we did
Or
our top 15.
We did a top 15, yeah. So
I'll just throw out one that never made any of our lists, but I've always really liked, and that's Shore Leave. I think Shore Leave is one of the best, like, low stakes episodes. It doesn't seem low stakes the first time watching it, but once you know what's going on, and, like, in retrospect, they just go down to a planet for a shore leave, and it's like a magical planet, essentially. I think it's a really fun idea, and they revisit it in TAS, and I think even do it debatably better because it's a cartoon. So I've always liked that episode.
oh, gotcha. Well, I'm trying to think of one that we haven't said before, but I'm just kind of scrolling through the episodes here. You know what? I'll just because it's a good one. I'm gonna go with. I just had it. Where'd it go? Sorry. This Side of Paradise.
That's my favorite episode.
That is your favorite. That's your favorite episode. Yeah. Yeah. Just Spock being happy and just all the goofy stuff that happens with that, with one of the most painful endings of all time, and I love those painful endings.
And Doomsday Machine is an episode that would definitely be on a rewatch list for sure. Not that we hated it, but everyone seems to love it, and we just thought it was decent.
That's the asshole captain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Decker. Yeah.
Yeah. I've grown more to appreciate that one as time's gone. I don't think I cared for it originally in my initial reaction, but the more I think about it, I'm like, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was a very, very good performance. One of the best guest performances of the show. It was just nothing else in the episode grabbed me in our initial reaction, so definitely one I'd want to rewatch. All right, Steve, what do you got next?
Well, we're starting to kind of move towards the movies at this point. I'm actually surprised. I'm just going to say this not to jinx anything, but we're actually doing really well on those super chats. Props to the patrons and the target audience. Seriously, guys,
Yeah, thank you,
this
guys.
is awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
I was expecting like 5 people to show up and for it to be a complete failure. So this is
Wow,
awesome.
thanks, Steve. We bring you on the channel. These are this is what the expectations.
No,
He was
keep
dreading it
everybody
all week.
Well, I mean,
No,
you never know how
You never
things
know.
are
I
gonna
get it.
go.
I get it. Yeah, and we don't stream a lot, so we're not a streaming channel necessarily. So yeah, I understand.
It's also a Wednesday, that was the other thing. I was like, is anybody going to show up on a Wednesday?
That's the
Like,
exact reason
I-
they show up, because it's Wednesday. What else are we doing?
Yeah, it's not like we're going out to like an event or anything. People get to stay at home.
Yeah,
True. It's true.
this is the internet.
Let's see here. So we're kind of going into the movies now. We kind of talked a little bit about the motion picture. How much did you guys have you guys done any behind the scenes research on the Trek movies and kind of what went on there, or
I think
have
we
you kinda
did.
stayed away from that?
I think we did a bit for when we did our discussion videos.
Watch
post.
our discussion videos.
But I've said this before. I'm very split on behind the scenes stuff. On one hand, I want to know everything that went into it because I find filmmaking fascinating. I want to know like how this was made, what was this set, where was this filmed, blah 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 blah. And then the other hand is like I enjoy the magic and of just what we see on screen. And like sometimes I think about my favorite movies, and I often worry if I were to see the other side of the camera, is that going to ruin any of the magic for me? You know what I mean? It's like, is that going to take away any of the aura of appreciation I have for it? And if I see it dissected, is it going to kill it? But it's like
It's true.
It's but it's like you know what I mean? I want to see some
double-edged
footage of
sword.
Spock. I want to see some footage of Leonard Nimoy, doing some stuff behind the camera. I looked up some behind the scenes photos and they were super cool.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. I just something about it. It's like when you see how the sausage is made, it makes you feel differently about the movie. And it almost gives you like in my opinion, it can give you an attachment to that movie once you know more about it. That kind of boosts how you feel about the movie. Which there's nothing wrong. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But I just think like if I were to dive into the behind the scenes stuff, I would want to make sure to do it evenly. Because like if I just decided I really loved Search for Spock, right? Like if I just decided to dive in on the behind the scenes on Search for Spock, but none of the other movies, obviously I'm gonna have more of a positive thought than on Search for Spock because that's the one I learned everything about. So I just kind of stay away from it as a whole, just to try to not taint how I feel about anything. But yeah, learning the backstage stuff that we get in our comments. Obviously, we learn a bunch of stuff through our comments and our patrons, and that's always neat. I just don't go out of my way necessarily to really watch anything. Plus, there's always just a deep fear, kind of similar to how Alex said with the Red Letter Media. I'll be watching a behind the scenes about TMP, and then all of a sudden they'll be like, "Yeah, it's like in season 4 of TNG," and it's like, "Oh, okay, I can't watch, can't watch this." So I stay away because of that too.
Oh, that is one. Just it popped into my head. Jordy's thing.
Yeah.
You know what that actually is?
No idea.
It's a beret, a beret for the women wear it up here.
Oh,
in their
really?
hair.
Oh, it's just like a hair thing?
They just took it and put a frame on it because it looked futuristic. Nobody's gonna recognize that. That
That's
just ruined Star Trek: The Next Generation for you. Sorry.
no, I also like those things are just so fascinating and how simple, like some of the most crazy, like I don't know. One thing I love behind the scenes is how like in Jurassic Park how they got like the water for the cup. It's like they just set up some guitar strings and they flicked it and it caused like little things like that were like simple, like that's like a huge budget movie, but like the simple filmmaking tricks are like so timeless sometimes.
That's filmmaking.
It's film,
yeah.
it's like nothing else is working, but it's something simple and dumb. You know what I mean? But nowadays everything's just
Put it in.
everything's just on one of these, and it's awful.
We sold out. This will be this green screen will be a big part of our channel. You'll see soon. So
We've sold out.
but that's just because we don't have enough money to pay for a good real set, so we just have to use this green screen for now.
Not yet, but patreon.com/.
All right, yeah. So jumping into the movies necessarily, do you want to just start off with Steve? You can go first, and then we can go because we didn't do like a discussion wrap up on the movies like we did for the show. So we can just rank the first 4 movies. I think that'd be fun. If you want to go first, Steve.
Oh yeah. For me, it would be kind of ironically what you were talking about there, Josh, with the things getting precious. Star Trek 3 is probably my favorite off the top. And the main reason for that is Harv Bennett. When he took on the role as producer, he watched TOS end to end. He took notes. So you're watching Star Trek 3 and you can draw direct parallels in dialogue and characterization back to Mock Time and Day of the Dove. There's that scene with Commander Krug and Kirk, and Krug says, "No tricks, Kirk. You have 1 minute." And Kirk says, "No tricks." He said the same thing in Day of the Dove when he's talking to Kang. No tricks. Once we get aboard the ship, no tricks.
Ah.
So anytime Kirk says that to a Klingon, it usually means he's about to trick the Klingon. It's just not-
That's neat.
I would probably. It's really hard for me because it's like a mood thing. All 4 of those movies are very different.
Mm-hmm.
Motion Picture and Wrath of Khan would probably tie for number 2, and then I'd put Star Trek 4 not in a distant. Like I said, it's mood, but Star Trek 4 would probably be in the tail end.
Nice. Well, I think we're gonna piss everyone off here.
Let me go with what's last. No, number 1.
Well, real quick, you can agree or disagree. We like all 4 movies.
Oh yeah, I love all 4.
We love some more than others. There's none of them we dislike. So take everything we're about to say with a grain of salt.
Yeah. It's so tough, but I got to think maybe tied for first. It's tough. It's probably Motion Picture and Search for Spock.
Yeah, I put Search for Spock as my clear number 1.
Yeah, those 2 are so close, but it's pointless because they're 4 different movies.
Yeah, it's like what Steve said.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. It's like I don't know. It's like ranking your favorite food. Well, they're all different things. Depending on what food.
Yeah.
3. Probably go Wrath of Khan for Voyage Home.
Okay, so I'll switch it up because I put Voyage Home as my second favorite. I really love it for the character stuff. Everyone gets involved, which doesn't happen in most of the movies. And I really like it. I don't love it as much as some of the people in the comments have let us know. Like, this is my favorite. Like, it is nowhere near Search for Spock for me. But I really enjoy it. And then I would put TMP, and I put Wrath of Khan last. Which again is a good movie and it's very well made. But it's just funny because I think it translates very much into the episodes of TOS that we liked. And I feel like Wrath of Khan is similar to like a Balance of Terror or Doomsday Machine, where everyone loves it because it's so well made. And it's like, yeah, it is a really well made movie. It's just not what I want in a Star Trek movie necessarily. So like while I appreciated it, of those four, it's at the bottom, but I liked it.
Yeah, let me just say this. So let's say you have a race of the 4 fastest runners in the world. One of them's going to be last in that race.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're a bad racer. You know what I mean? It's just like you put 4 of the best in a race. You know, it's like someone's going to be a loser.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we've talked about this in a different video, but it's like just because it's last doesn't mean it's the worst.
Yeah. Sometimes it does, but sometimes not. Yeah.
Depends.
Depends. Yeah.
Meanwhile, somebody's keyboard is clacking right now. You hate Star Trek 2? You
Yeah,
hate
yeah.
it's because you didn't get it. You guys just didn't get it. That's all it is.
I put it at 3, so
Yeah. I think.
or 2.
I think it'll really be funny if we end up liking Star Trek 5 more as well, because that seems to be the one everyone hates. So we have a little bit before we get to it.
I am so excited for that. Just for people to rip us apart.
You scoot over just a little bit.
Yeah.
It became kind of a game for me when I was watching you guys go through TOS. What are they going to think this week? Because the normative popular opinion and what you guys usually came up with, that was what made it entertaining to watch. It was not, and I said this to Josh last week when we talked, the brand of target audience is what you guys think of what you watch. Period. Like, that's what makes you guys you. And for, some Star Trek fans have a hard time with that. What do you mean you didn't like everything exactly down the line as everybody else likes? Like he had radiation.
The best. I don't want to dwell on this too long, but my favorite comments are the ones that are like, "I'd love to see you guys make a show." It's like, why are you watching this YouTube video? Like you decided to watch 2 idiots talk about something. Like, that's not our decision.
Yeah, one, you are watching the show.
Yeah.
2, yeah, I used to have a problem with that where like I used to have this defense of stuff I liked. And I would watch YouTube channels of people talking about it and I would get upset. But then I was able, I don't know, to grow and be like, you know what? Every person is wired differently. I want to hear some different takes on it. I want to see it from a different perspective. Because I used to be like, oh, this person, blah, blah, blah. As if, it was my baby or something when I didn't make it. It's like, but I've able to open myself up to other forms or other people's forms or opinions, criticisms on stuff and make me think, oh, look, almost like a debate. Like, okay, made some good points.
Yeah, I also just want to say on that part that we have a clear and obvious underlying love for Star Trek. Like, we wouldn't be continuing with this if we didn't. There's plenty of shows. I mean, you guys can all attest to this. There's plenty of stuff we've watched on the channel that people want us to continue and we haven't, right? And the main reason for that is because of the YouTube performance. But even that aside, we're not going to continue watching something that we don't absolutely love. And I mean, we love Star Trek. So that's why for me, I feel like, yeah, if I am tearing apart a particular episode or even just pointing out why I don't like something, it's just like, hey, look, I love the show. So it's not that you get a complete pass, like obviously people can disagree with us and tell us why they disagree, but it's just the over the top, like, this is ridiculous. It's like, it's not that serious.
You guys are stupid.
On
all
that
right.
subject, I just want to say real quick, I'm sorry. I'll take full responsibility for this. I'm so sorry for Quantum Leap. I thought it was going to be a second Star Trek for you guys, and you just kind of liked it, and that's okay. It wasn't it did not do well with audiences, so oh well.
I mean, I think it did well view wise.
It didn't.
I-
Well, what's the bar? If the bar is Star Trek, it didn't. But
the bar is like 1,000 views per episode. I think if it gets more than 1,000, because there's like a clear gap sometimes. It's like 300 views for like our Flanagan stuff. And I think anything over 1,000 is like decent.
Yeah, what I'll say is, like, when it comes to the secondary stuff, for me, it has to move the needle for it to make sense to continue. So, like, if we watch a season of something and, like, even if a couple thousand people who are already in our audience watch it, but it's not moving the needle for the channel, then it just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? To continue it immediately. And that's why we watch one season of stuff and don't continue. But all that stuff falls into a bucket of we could always go back to it. There's nothing we've watched that I would never watch again except for Scream, the TV show.
Oh yeah, that was yeah. But yeah, believe me, we see all the comments saying, "Oh, it gets better in the 3rd season or the 2nd season," but it's like, but we have to start at the first one.
Yeah, we're not a watch the top 10 episodes channel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's just not what we do.
And we've suffered through some first season stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe one day down the line, when I don't have to work for
It all comes back to the capitalism.
It all comes back to capital.
All right, we got a few more super chats here. We got to read. Eddie says, "Is there a schedule change now that there are a lot more episodes per season of Trek? Do you watch more in one go? By the way, what even is your schedule?"
Well, I live here, as you all know.
Yeah, Alex lives here, and twice a week I pull him out, like you saw at the beginning of this stream. No, but because of our job schedules and our real life stuff, personal lives, all of that. Since we transitioned to in-person, which I think we both like a lot more, we have only been able to do it twice a week. So, I mean, remember, guys, TOS we were watching virtually. So, I mean, we never even watched that in person.
We were doing that. We were doing an episode 4 days a week.
Recording 4 days a week,
Recording
yeah.
4 days
but only one thing.
Yeah,
like
only
we'd watch
one,
one episode. But now we're doing twice a week, and for TNG, we're watching it every Monday, and we're watching 2 episodes on Monday. So what the schedule is going to be is we'll watch it on Monday, 2 episodes. Those 2 episode uncut reaction will be on Patreon that week, and then obviously we also have to edit them, so then they'll hit YouTube eventually. But it's going to start next week here on YouTube with the pilot, and we're going to be looking at 2 episodes a week for TNG consistently. So I would look for, in terms of the schedule, that's what you're going to be looking at.
Wednesday's more fun stuff.
Yeah, Wednesdays when we do our discussion videos or watch Patreon movies. We started watching exclusive movies over there for our Patreon that we then do the discussions like you guys saw for Apollo 13. We're going to be doing that for more movies where you can watch the movie with us if you want to on our Patreon, but then we discuss it for YouTube. Those will just be more so like a couple times a month, 1 to 2 times a month. But the TNG will be the main focus, 2 of those a week for sure. So
it really is one for us, one for us, one for them, or one for them, one for us. Whatever.
Yeah.
Although Star Trek is us for us too.
I mean, we've been watching Star Trek TNG now for 3 weeks, I think, right? Yeah, because we've watched 6 episodes.
Yeah.
And I'm like psyched every Monday to watch it. So it's like absolutely. But we just unfortunately don't have more days right now. Plus the editing time. We could watch 10 episodes in a week. That doesn't mean I can edit 10 episodes. So that factors into it too. But all right, let's got a couple more here. CJ says, Michael with another super chat says, "Did you guys catch that Saavik and Spock made it in the cave in Star Trek 3 and that she was pregnant or preggers in 4 and stayed behind? Also explains her meek look to him when saying goodbye." I've read hundreds of comments about this, yes. I didn't catch it in the movie though.
Yeah, we talked about this in the discussion video, didn't we?
Yeah, watch the discussion.
You didn't watch every single video we have before coming to this? Are you serious? No, thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you. But
If I can
yeah.
nerd on that one for just a second.
Yep.
There's something about Saavik that always irked me. It's kind of cut, but it's still kind of considered canon. She's supposedly half Vulcan and half Romulan, which
Yeah.
is like saying she's half and half of the same thing. Because Romulans are Vulcans, they're just on a different planet. It's not.
And wait, she's pregnant with a half human, half Vulcan baby.
Oh yeah, quarter Vulcan.
Oh God, this baby's gonna be like jack of all trades.
He was the prophecy. He was the chosen one.
The chosen one.
Sexist of us to assume it's a he.
If only a Klingon could have gotten involved somehow. That would have been the ultimate Star Trek.
Yeah. All right. We got CJ. Star Trek 5 is the GOAT. You will see. I hope you're right, CJ. 17 Nation Army. Star Trek 5, I would call a bad movie with a few really awesome scenes. One in particular might be my favorite in all of Star Trek, but it is at the bottom of my list of movies. What a great juxtaposition there.
You know what? We're gonna see this movie and we're gonna love it, and people are gonna freak the F out. I can't wait.
Didn't William Shatner direct 5? Is that right, Steve?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh
yeah.
Oh hell yeah! Oh hell yeah!
Okay. And we got one more here for now. Larry Potter, thank you. Very generous super chat. You know, guys, I was never that crazy about Star Trek 3 Search for Spock, and yet until I watched it with you guys, you actually turned me around to my favorite movie. For that, I give this to you. That's insane.
Yeah, that's what. Thank you, man. But that's what's so cool is that we can watch these things and people go back and rewatch it with us, or just rewatch our reactions. And if we can give like a different perspective, or have people go back and somehow that changes their perspective, that is so cool to me. Especially since for something we love like Search for Spock, if we can turn people onto that didn't like it originally, I think that's fascinating.
Yeah, or vice versa. If you like really loved an episode and then we just made you hate it.
Good, good.
I always really loved the empath, but now.
The Deadlier is my favorite episode. Not anymore.
Okay, and we got one from Webb. I think this is James, though. I think, if I'm correct, I recognize the picture, or someone just has the same picture.
You
but
just
I think...
dox this guy?
Oh no, his first name. He says, "Here's a different lens to look at episodes like Balance of Terror and Doomsday Machine through. They're suspense episodes, not so much action episodes, as you referred to them at the time. Favorite channel on YouTube." Well, thank you very much. And yeah, I get where you're coming from with that.
Yeah, I do like suspense, mystery, drama more than action. I mean, I think that goes with what our favorite movies are in Star Trek. I think, honestly, we've joked about this, but I would just like a throwaway, maybe somewhere down the line, like a second time watching would be a fun thing to do, especially in person, because we've only watched one episode
Of Star Trek in person, yeah.
of Star Trek of TOS in person.
Yeah.
So that would be a fun thing to revisit in person, and like more of like a casual, calm, because a lot of these I really would like to revisit. I remember like for our discussion videos, I would watch it at home on Paramount Plus on my TV. I'm like, God, this is so much better than watching it on my little laptop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I have
Yes, big.
yeah, I have a Mac desktop, so the screen was a little bit bigger, but I also did the recording and stuff, so I have, every time we would watch Star Trek and everything, OBS open, Discord open, the video open, so it was distracted for both of us. In person would be awesome.
I would have my Discord open and other yeah.
Yeah, you too, yeah. So, down the line for sure, once we have more time, no time. All right, back to the movies, though, Steve. In the discussion about the movies, was there anything else for the movies in particular you wanted to ask us about or talk about?
Kind of just a little bit of time, like I said, some behind the scenes stuff that I think is kind of interesting. Art Bennett was a TV guy. He was known for getting things done on time and under budget. That's why he was given the job.
Hell yeah.
Nick Meyer had never seen Star Trek. Not, when he was asked about the job, it was, "Is that the one with the guy with the pointy ears?" And he recounted a story of the only Star Trek experience he had was when he was in college. He had a friend who would drop acid and watch the original series. He's like, that was my extent of Star Trek. And he talks about the death scene in particular, how he was disconnected from Star Trek because he's down the camera and he looks up and he looks around and everybody on that stage was crying for Spock's death, tears, and he was like, oh, I did not know the sheer weight of, even back then, how important Spock was to everybody. And I think the reason the Wrath of Khan often gets put in that category of this is the one to watch is because it is pretty accessible. You don't really need to know a lot. But even with people who have never watched Star Trek before, I've watched Wrath of Khan with them, and that scene still kicks them in the stomach. I've actually watched reactors on YouTube who have watched Wrath of Khan. They've watched Space Seed, and then they've watched Wrath of Khan. They love the movie, and then as soon as Spock dies, they hate the movie.
Yeah.
They turn on it like 180, like.
And just as,
I was having a good time.
Just as a reminder too, I mean, for our perspective, like at the end of the day, neither of us thought Wrath of Khan was our favorite movie. It's still the only reaction we've done where we've come close to crying. I mean,
I was crying.
Yeah.
I was like, the tears were there. And then here comes Scotty with his bagpipes.
Scotty with the bagpipes.
And he just robbed it from me. And people like ripped me apart about that. I'm like, it just came out of the bagpipes were just out of nowhere. Like, I will defend it. And plus it was Scotty. If there's like a row of people and they were already in frame, but like, but that moment though of the funeral and everything, that was, probably one of our most emotional moments. Even so, buried inside a movie that wasn't our favorite, I still like to give it credit and props for that. Oh yeah, I love that funeral, and like I've grown to appreciate that death scene more. It's just like on a first time reaction, like some things just took me out of it. But like as a whole, it was amazing. Like I would scrounge through the streaming services for like movies that will make you cry, because I'm always looking. I love that, getting that reaction from something, because it makes me feel like a human being. And like the last time I looked up movies that make you cry. I watched it, and like it did nothing for me. I'm like, God, but it's like it's one of those things where like you can't search for it; it just has to happen. And I never thought it would happen in Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan, which people have talked about as like the best Star Trek action movie. I never thought I would cry during that. So yeah. So kudos to it.
That brings me to kind of my last thing with Wrath of Khan specifically, but with pretty much with the movies. Um, do you remember what your kind of your three criticisms were?
Of the whole movie,
Yeah, when you kind of did your discussion, what your kind of your three main criticisms were of the
David.
movie?
David is a
David?
whole.
No.
Spock's death scene was weird,
Yeah. This.
and then
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say the bagpipes were a criticism.
No.
No.
I would say them not fighting in person.
Oh, them not meeting in person, Kirk and
No in-person scene. Yeah, because I don't know. When you do a scene, like I've taken acting classes, and like when you're in the same room with the person, all vibing, like I want to see those two actors. You know, like I want to feel their presence, like in the same room together, because there's so much history there, especially since they were both in TOS.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, and they fought in TOS, and like that history, and like, but never really feeling that tension, that physical tension between them, because it's all over the view screen. Like I just feel like that was a missed opportunity. Like I understand, you
It
know,
was scheduling.
scheduling and how old Khan's actor was.
I don't even think that had anything to do with it. People
I
have,
heard. Didn't he have some back issues?
well,
or
people have
something?
given us like 12 different reasons, but all of my research that I've done, my research has all said that it was purely scheduling. Ricardo Montalban was doing that Fantasy Island show, and Kirk might have been doing something too. I don't know, but Nicholas Meyer, Ricardo Montalban, William Shatner, like there's all record of them all saying they wanted to be on screen together, and they just couldn't get it done. So that's the reason I see in my research. People have said other things like how old they are and everything, or just how the movie was written, but I don't buy that. I think it's purely scheduling.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love the ship chess game. It's very Star Trek of them in their final encounter on the ships. But like, I don't know. Like,
We went off a little bit there, Steve. Sorry, but yeah, I think those were our three, right?
I mean, that's kind of touching. What shocked me is the one that I was actually thinking of. You guys didn't even mention at all because it wasn't really a big thing. But I wanted to bring it up anyway because it kind of showed you guys have good instincts on this stuff. There was a moment in the funeral scene. I'm gonna just quickly go here.
Yes, okay. I know what he's gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah, I showed it to Josh already. Spoilers. There's the funeral scene where they're all gathered in the torpedo room, and Kirk is doing his speech. And right at that point where he is gonna say that he was the most human, there's a moment that was cut where he looks over at McCoy, and McCoy is just tears, just crying, and Kirk's holding it together until he sees McCoy crying, and then he looks at Savick and asks her to carry on the proceedings because he can't. That broke him. And you guys said during your reaction, why isn't there a shot of McCoy? That is like next to Kirk. That is Spock's best friend, and it doesn't make any sense that that's not there. Dramatically, that it makes sense because it's a movie for general audiences.
They'd be like,
It
"Why does
doesn't
the
make
doctor
sense.
care?"
yeah.
Some people have said it was Kelly couldn't cry. I don't know if that's
Get
true.
him some eye drops.
There's ways to do it, but maybe back then, maybe yeah. But yeah, I think that would have been like the final like perfect button to show how much Bones cares about Spock because he's always busting his chops about something, and like you green-blooded pointy, you know, it's like. But if we just had that one shot of him crying or something, it would have like. It's like,
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew you care. You know what I mean?
We do get the scene, not in that movie, but in Search for Spock, when Spock is still like passed out and Bones gets to talk to him one-on-one when he's unconscious before they wake him up, which was a nice scene. Wasn't in our YouTube reaction because we just watched it. We didn't really have a reaction to it, but yeah, I would agree.
Choose the danger. Hell of a time to ask.
Steve, was there anything for the general discussion you wanted to throw in here before, and then we can read these super chats and then get into the actual Q&A portion? But was there anything else you wanted to touch on, and just in terms of general discussion?
I would say, it's been one heck of a ride, guys, and I appreciate, seriously, genuinely from the bottom of my heart, last year or so has been a pretty rough patch in my life, and you guys have been seriously been a bright point for me. Your reactions have gotten me through some rough days, so I want to thank you both from the bottom of my heart, and thank you for doing this. Seriously, you could have said no.
No, hey, thank you guys. Thank you. Well, thank you. Yeah, and like without you guys, it's like the channel in general is kind of like an experiment. Like I reached out to you like, hey, what if we did a reaction channel? Because we're always talking to each other about movies and TV shows. Like, what if we just reacted to it on YouTube and made a lot of money? But no, it's like it'd be a fun idea, and I never thought I'd be this emotionally attached to media like or something like this and like experiencing this stuff with other people, and it's like it's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll just the last thing I'll say. First of all, Steve, really appreciate you saying that. That means a lot. And talking to you and everything has been awesome. But just everybody, the whole community, I always will remember after we posted the first Star Trek episode, because it took about 10 episodes. When we got to the menagerie is really when things started to take off viewership wise. Obviously we're still a very small channel here, but like compared to what we were doing before, less than 100 views for every video, but the very first Star Trek episode that we posted, the Man Trap, and had a few hundred views or whatever. I remember getting the first comment that was like from a Star Trek fan, and unfortunately I don't think the person stuck around. I don't remember. It's not a name that sticks out to me, so I apologize. But if you go back to that first video, I'm sure you can find the comment I'm talking about. But someone was just like, oh my goodness, like, wow, I can't believe I found this video. No one on YouTube reacts to Star Trek. Like, this is so awesome. And I remember reading it at the time and thinking like, huh, I wonder how many of these people are out there, because at the time we were just watching current stuff, like what most people do, and we were just watching current stuff, and it was fine, whatever, we like some more than others, but for someone to comment that like was just randomly searching the internet for Star Trek videos and found us, I was like, I wonder if there's any others, and clearly there's a lot more. Clearly there's a lot of people, but I'll always remember that moment. Like I was laying in bed when that happened, and it was kind of like the light bulb moment of like, oh, we can just watch whatever we want. Like, we don't have to watch, Hawkeye and Obi-Wan Kenobi. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that was the original idea. Because after like the Luke Skywalker boom of 2020, with him being spoilers for
Spoiler.
The Mandalorian season 2. Yeah, it's like after that, and I saw so many channels just blow up. I'm like, oh my god. And with that, and me wanting to watch stuff with Josh, I'm like, what if we did a channel? And like, I think we were just looking for stuff to watch, and like we were watching modern stuff. It's like, oh yeah, this is fine. And I think we were just discussing ideas of other stuff. Like, oh, what if we did Star Trek? I think it was my idea.
Yeah.
And here we are. It's the whole channel.
Yeah. And then I'll let you have a last word, Steve, on this general discussion. We're not done, guys. We're just getting started. We're gonna read these last couple of super chats, take a quick break, and then come back for the patrons' questions. Any other super chats you guys have, and then we'll open it up to open Q&A to the regular chat for those that are still here and have questions for us. We want to make sure to get to as many as we can. But Steve, you're welcome to stay when we come back for the Q&A portion too. Up to you, but I'll let you have the last word here before we take this short break just to wrap up the discussion.
Hey, I'm here for the long haul, but if I may, just I wanted to give a couple of shout outs this evening. First to my friends Jim and Violet, who are watching in the chat right now. You guys are some of my best friends, maybe my very best friends, and I'm glad that you're with me, and I'm glad that we've known each other for so long. I love you guys, seriously. And then an associate of mine off of Twitter and YouTube by the name of Janelle Waz. They do all kinds of Star Trek content. You guys should go and check them out. They do all kinds of stuff. TNG, DS9, they review video games, all kinds of content. They're doing an Elite Force playthrough, Star Trek Voyager Elite Force, so that's a lot of fun. And then another YouTube channel that I love to watch is R Nights. The guys over at R Nights, they do Babylon 5, Black Sails. They're just starting that one now. All kinds of movies. They just did Highlander. There's only one of those, so they're not going to do any more. Yeah, all of you guys, thanks for coming. Thanks for joining in. I hope we're helping the channel, guys. Seriously, I hope this brings in some new viewers who will join the Patreon and see a lot of that content. I'm not shilling. I'm serious. There's a lot of great stuff on there that is unique and the community is fantastic. There's always a conversation going on. Come and join in. Seriously,
Yeah.
that's my final.
Yeah, Patreon's not that great. No, but honestly, I'm not even lying. But the best part of the Patreon is the patrons. I mean, the community in there is insane. Makes it awesome to have a Patreon. Obviously, I love talking to everybody on YouTube, but you can only do so much. You can only talk to so many people.
Yeah, I try to read YouTube comments, but Patreon comments, I make sure to scroll through and read as much as I can, or every one if I can, because those people they're, you know what I mean. It's like
Good dudes.
they're good people, good people.
Yeah, for sure. And then I just want to make sure we hit these last few super chats we have before we hit the break. Stuart, who put in here, most people find Star Trek somewhere in the middle, a later show, a random movie episode. Y'all are getting a unique experience in order. First season TNG is hated since most folks joined later. Yeah, we've been hearing that a lot, guys. I'm not going to spoil anything for our TNG reactions. The 5th episode just got posted on our Patreon. 6th will be up on Friday, but they're going to start hitting YouTube next week. We've only seen a few episodes, guys, but there's going to be some both reactions in the episodes and takes that we have that I'm already super excited to hit YouTube to see how you guys react to them. So that's going to be awesome.
It's a new generation, the next generation of how we post stuff on YouTube. A little
Yeah.
different, little experiment.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Yeah. Did we tell them like the idea we had about Brad and Nick?
About 2 new people. We said it in the video. Yeah.
Okay.
You can tell them now though too if you want.
So we had an idea just to open up the first TNG YouTube idea. We have a couple friends that look kind of like us, and the idea was it would open up with them, like talking as if like the new hosts of the show. Like, hey, I'm Brad. This is Nick with the target audience. Blah blah blah. And we're starting a new show, the next generation. And I think the reaction would start, like the actual video playing.
Like we were gonna see how far into it we could go.
And then after I don't know a minute, we're like, what the hell are you doing? Get out of here.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
Yeah, that's what. Unfortunately, we couldn't get that done. But yeah, you guys know we always love to do the bits and side stuff.
Nick was the duplicate in the motion picture
Yes.
fight scene.
And he was also in our Halloween video.
Our Halloween 3 video. Yep.
Yeah, so shout out to him for sure. Steve, you're the first person to be on our channel besides our friend Nick, outside of us too. So,
Honored.
and then last one here from Michael for now. He says, your reaction to the reveal and Is There in Truth No Beauty has to be one of the funnest moments of watching you guys for me. That's one of the best moments for sure.
Yeah. She's blind.
See, like me personally, of course I love the big moments like that, and I understand why viewers would love them, but I mostly love just when Alex tells a joke that, like, not that makes me laugh out loud in the moment, but like it's just really funny because I get to go back and edit the videos, so like going back and then like hearing the joke again and it like hitting me a second time, it's like there's so many that I'm like, oh, this is actually really hilarious. So yeah, like one of my favorites is the naked time. The naked time when it shows them frozen on the planet and he's like, oh, he took dead end job a little too serious.